Hey guys, Joy here, and today I'm doing a book talk. It's been a while since I've done a book talk, so let's see how this goes. The book we'll be talking about today is The Last Star by Rick Yancey. Now, I've heard a lot about the fifth wave and the infinite sea here on YouTube, but I haven't seen much videos on The Last Star. And I feel it's because a lot of people were conflicted as to how the story went and how it ended. Okay, so before I jump into the spoiler section, I'm gonna say a few things that are non-spoilery. What a ride this book was. The entire book felt like I was reading The Fifth Wave over again. It had the same funny dialogue, not knowing what's going to happen, and that damn bear was the center of the story once again. That damn bear was the symbolism of change, of innocence, and of promises. Not only did it feel like I was reading The Fifth Wave all over again, like that same dynamic, the same feeling, but the tone of the story felt defeated. It had like this impending doom feeling to it. An interesting thing I found about this book was we talked a lot about faith, and we didn't really talk much about it in The Fifth Wave or in The Infinite Sea. Faith and hope were strong themes. We're constantly reading about how the characters are either losing their faith, talking about keeping their faith, or talking about the lack of faith. And it was really interesting to read because faith and God is a subject that we don't see that much in YA novels. Either way, it was really interesting to read about their faith. So this goes along with the tone of the story and how it felt like the fifth wave, but the writing of the book was fantastic. I love the way this man writes. It has even mixture of seriousness and comedy relief. I mean, there were times where things would get so dark, so heavy, and then you'd read the next sentence and you couldn't help but bust out laughing. Because Rick Yancey has that magic power where, yes, we are doing something serious here, but let's just add a little bit of funniness to lift the mood and not, depress you. Even though I was depressed by the end of this book. I am in no way saying I loved the ending. I understand it. I get why it had to end that way. I mean, it was a realistic ending. We didn't get that fairy tale ending where everything is resolved. Really, you can't fix everything in just 3 books. I mean, some things did feel resolved. Not all, but some. Overall, I did enjoy the trilogy. It was an amazing trilogy, something that I would love to reread again. Now, having finished the story, I understand why people were so conflicted with how it ended. When I first finished the story, I was conflicted. I was like, why did it have to end this way? Can we please go back and rewrite this? After, I think it was around half an hour later, after I had finished the book, I was like, it didn't go my way. Overall, it was a good story. And if you look at it, if you lift the book in a certain way, if you look at it in a different light, if you wish, we did get a semi-happy ending. Not a fairy tale one, like I said, but a semi-happy ending. So, talking about all this, I give this novel a 97%. If you were to ask me to rate the entire series as a whole, I would give it a 95%. So now we are going into the spoiler section, so if you don't want to be spoiled, please leave right now, or if you don't care and you don't mind being spoiled, just go ahead and watch. I can't. I think about it and I can't. My glasses were fogging up from the tears. I even have a Snapchat of me talking about this book, and I'll include it right now. I'm not even done with the book yet, and it has me in tears. I had to take off my glasses because they were fogging up from the tears. That was me while I was in the last 21 pages of this book, and it was hard. It was hard reading that ending. When I was reading Cassie's last chapters, it hit me in the feels. I don't know what it is with authors nowadays trying to kill off their main character. I mean, figure Cassie wasn't the only main character in the novel, but she was a very big part of the story. She was the reason why the story had to be told. It was just awful. It was awful, and oh my gosh, tears are rolling down my face. Like, I couldn't breathe. That's how bad it got. And I think out of all the books I read where the main character dies, this one hit me the hardest because I loved Cassie. Her determination to find her brother in the first book, and then in the second book we have her trying to get her brother to understand, this is a shitty situation, but things will get better. And then in this book, she's so heartbroken by the fact that her brother can build a bomb and he forgot his ABCs. Back to the last few chapters of Cassie. I mean, this entire book, the whole tone, while I was reading it, even from the beginning, something felt off. The reason why her last few chapters got me so bad, why I was crying, like blubbering, couldn't breathe type of cry, was because her last few chapters, after she had downloaded everybody's memories into herself, she knew what she had to do. She knew what she had to do to save these people. When I was reading, when she was asking Ringer to keep a look on Sammy, he's not going to understand. He's going to be pissed as hell, and you're going to explain it to him. You're going to tell him what happened and why, and you're going to take care of him. Understand? You're going to keep him safe and make sure he bathes and brushes his teeth and trims his nails and wears clean underwear and learns to read. Teach him to be patient and to be kind and to trust everyone, even strangers, especially strangers. Make him understand it wasn't random, that there's no way 7 billion atoms could accidentally coalesce into a person called Samuel Jackson Sullivan. Nobody is allowed to call him Nugget ever again for the rest of his life. I mean, really, so stupid. Promise me, Marika. Promise me. When she was telling Marika that, I was like, damn it, Cassie, don't do this. Don't do this. Because at that point, you know what she was going to do, and it was so heartbreaking to read it. When I read this part, I didn't see her crying. I imagined her like she was ready for it. I imagined her ready to do what it was that she needed to do. And then we have the chapter where she takes that pill and she's praying. This is the scene where I say that she felt at peace. She is in the pod. She's about to step into the mothership and blow it up with that pill. Now I lay me down to sleep. I draw in deep my final breath. When in the morning light I wake, I bite down hard. The seal breaks. Teach me the path of love to take. I step into the out there and breathe. I'm about to cry right now too. It's just so hard. The emotions are still seeping through. It was hard knowing that Cassie was gone. I can't right now. I feel like her death meant more to me. Like I don't like why it ended the way it ended, but I understand it. That's all I'm gonna say. And now I wanted to get it out of the way now because I knew this was gonna happen. I knew I was gonna start crying. Cassie was an amazing character. She was one of my favorites. She was very determined. She was determined to find her brother Sammy. She found him. She was determined to have an outlook in life that this is only happening for right now, but it's going to get better. The future is gonna be better, and this is just a little bump in the road. And she wants Sam to see it that way too. So in the end, when they're at the store with Ben trying to get a Christmas tree and they see a fifth waiver, Sam's instinct is to shoot him first, and that is not what Cassie wanted. So Ben took him aside. He's like, Sam, this has to end. We don't have to shoot people anymore. We can trust them. Sam still hasn't grasped the concept that things are changing and he should change with them because he's so small and he was brainwashed by Vosh and the whole Camp Haven, and it was sad because I really loved Cassie. She was one of my favorite characters. She was a character I looked up to, and when she died, when she was praying, it was just so hard to read. Let's talk about the beginning of the book now that we've got the ending and the depressing things out of the way. Book starts off where the last one left off. Ringer just watched Razor shoot Teacup, and then she saw Razor getting shot, and she jumps out the window and she starts running, and she's confused why nobody's following her, but that's because Vosh wanted her to run. We go back to Grace's house, the hideout, where they got everything out, and Cassie's like, I'm gonna kill Evan Walker, and I found it so funny / sad because she blames Evan, not the human side, but the alien side, for why Sam is so defiant, and she's mad at Evan that she goes up to him and just slaps him, and Evan's like, why did you just hit me? Do you know why I'm wet? Why are you wet? I was giving my baby brother a bath. Why was I giving my baby brother a bath? Because he was dirty. For the same reason, I spent a week cleaning up this dump after we moved in. Because that's what human beings do, Evan. We don't live in filth. We bathe. We wash our hair and we brush our teeth and we shave off unwanted hair. Sam needs to shave? Shut up! I'm talking. When I talk, you don't talk. When you talk, I don't talk. That's another thing humans do. They treat each other with respect. Respect, Evan. Respect. respect. And she's like, he's handling me. Not only did Sam forget his ABCs, but he's also confessed to Cassie that he doesn't remember what his mom looked like. And after that chapter, we go into Sam's point of view, and he's talking about God and how God has said no so many times to him. And this is the part that also got to me, because Sam lost his faith. It was just so sad to see, because Cassie's like, Sam, have you been doing your nightly prayers? And he's like, no, I don't pray anymore. He used to pray every night, all the time. And the only answer God ever gave was no. Let mommy live, God. No. Let daddy come back, God. No. You can't trust God either. Even God is a liar. God said no, so I'm gonna say no. It was so heartbreaking. This whole entire book was hard for me to read. There were so many heartbreaking moments when Ben and Dumbo go out to find Ringer, and Dumbo gets shot. Ben kills the cat lady, and it's like, oh my god. Is there ever going to be a time where things would just be easy and just let them get through a mission without anyone dying, without anybody shooting anybody? Like, can we just have that one moment? And no, we can't, because Rick Yancey wrote this book to break our hearts. He wrote it so we could fall to pieces. He literally grabbed our heart, smushed it in his hand, and was like, I feel like making you guys cry this time. Whenever I was reading Ringer's section, and she was talking about how sick she felt, and she was so confused because the 12th system is supposed to make her feel better. It's there to take away the pain, is there to heal her whenever she gets hurt, but yet she's feeling nauseous, she feels like she's gonna puke, she feels so hungry, she feels dizzy, and I'm like, this sounds like she's pregnant. And what do you know? She is pregnant. And then it makes sense, because the 12th system is there to protect her. And what was making her sick was the baby, so the 12th system couldn't fix the baby. This whole thing about Constance had me on edge. And it made me believe that Ringer was there to double-cross Ben. When Ben found that pit of dead people, he saw Constance there. I mean, he's like, ooh, it's a fresh body. And then Constance just goes up to his ear. He's like, Ben, play dead. I was like, holy shit. The priest silencer comes up and he's like, I know you're in here, boy. I see your rifle. And then Constance just, oh. When we get to the part where Ben is having his mental breakdown, because he has noticed that something is different about Ringer. Something does not feel right with the situation he's in. And he notices that Constance is way too perky. Like, come on, it's the end of the world. Aliens are literally going to bomb us out of Earth. You're all happy-go-lucky. Like, something's wrong with you, woman. While he was having his mental breakdown, when he takes out his gun and points it at Constance, Ringer's like, Ben, you can trust her, you know? Trust me, trust her. And then Ben's like, what is happening to us, Ringer? And it just made me so sad, because here's Ben having a mental breakdown. He's never been a killer. And then suddenly, this whole alien invasion has changed who they were. And then Ben finally realizes that Ringer has double-crossed them, and they're there for Evan because they're trying to figure out why Evan's system failed, why he chose to defend the humans. So they want him back, put him into Wonderland to see what the hell went wrong. When Ringer and Ben are having that conversation that she's pregnant, Ben was trying to get Ringer to say she loved Razor. You could totally tell that Ringer didn't want to say it. She's like, I know what he wants me to say, but I can't say it. I know why, Ringer, because you love Ben and you wouldn't hurt him that way. You could totally tell that they love each other. Another thing is, when this whole situation was going down, after they were planning to do everything. We were first with Zombie and the kids. They put on their masks because they knew what the 5th waivers were gonna do. This whole time, Ben is thinking, I'm forgetting something, what did I forget? And then he remembers, oh yeah, that's right, the rifle, that's what I'm forgetting, right? Ben and Sam go outside to check everything was okay. They don't see anything out of the ordinary. They're like, oh yeah, you know, get Megan out of here. Megan's a piece of work. Sam looks up at him, he's like, what is that red dot on your head? And I'm like, oh, you forgot the snipers. Did not forget the snipers. He forgot to put the little pill that will make him light up red instead of green to the 5th waiver's eyepiece. After we're done with all of that, we're with Cassie and Ringer. And Cassie gets to the control room, and then rain starts falling down. But as the water was falling on her skin, she got these blisters, these sores that was so painful, and then she made the connection. Everything that was happening inside the camp was a miniature version of all of the waves that happened. Like the lights went out and then pouring rain, and since the water was laced with some type of poison, 3 waves right there. And then the 4th wave is the silencers. The one and only silencer that was walking around the halls was Evan. When Ringer goes out to try and kill Evan, and the whole image I got while Evan and Ringer were fighting was Loki and the Hulk. You know that scene from the first Avengers movie in the Stark Tower, and Hulk is just with Loki like this? I couldn't help but imagine that's how it went down. During the entire time when that was happening, I was like, oh my gosh, is she gonna lose the baby? What's gonna happen? You know, she's pregnant. You shouldn't be throwing people who are pregnant like that. She couldn't move, and then all of a sudden Vosh shows up. And then while Vosh and Ringer are talking, Cassie kills Evan. Cassie just electrocuted Evan to death. Vosh is telling Ringer, you know, I can take you with me to the mothership. I never comprehended love because there's no algorithm. And in a way, Vosh loved Ringer. He saw himself as a father to Ringer for creating her. Ringer's like, it's too late. No, this broken body, it's nothing. Worthless. It's not too late. It is for you. Behind him, Cassie took the cube, put the gun on the back of his head, and pew, brains all over the place. If you look at my little note right here, it's like, take that, you motherfucker! The ending ends with Ben telling Sam the story of Cassiopeia. You see the stars over there that looks like a sideways W? And he's like, but wouldn't the queen fall? And then Ben's like, no, because she's looking over her realm. And Sam's like, what's her realm? It's this. And it's like, that's because Cassie's looking over Sam. And though we do believe that Evan has died, he actually didn't. What had happened was that Ringer downloaded Evan's thoughts back. And so Evan is alive with all his memories, and he has to live with the fact that Cassie is not there with him. Though in a way Cassie will be, because Ringer has a baby girl and she names her Cassie, and I just started crying all over again. They were happy, sad tears. Happy because, you know, they named her after Cassie. Sad because they had to name her after Cassie. This whole book, I feel like it was horrible. It just broke my heart to pieces. I love how Ringer is comparing her daughter to Cassie, so much like her namesake. Crying, punching, demanding, needing. Maybe there is something to the idea of reincarnation. Basically, Cassie was reincarnated into Cassie. That was our semi-happy ending. I mean, I wish Cassie didn't had to die. I wish things weren't as heartbreaking as they were. But in all honesty, it's just someone had to die. That's basically my book talk for The Last Star. I feel like I've covered everything I wanted to talk about. So yeah, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Please let me know what you thought of this book or any other thoughts on this series down in the comments below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! I feel like this is the first book talk video I've ever cried in. I mean, I almost cried in a video, but that was when I was talking about my brother's death. And I mean, it was raw. It was like a few days / weeks after he had died when I made that video, and I couldn't talk about it.